Morning. Welcome back. I'm liking the daylight in here for my own personal motivation. It may not look the best on stream, but you're not here to see my face, so I figured it's fine. You're not really here to see my face. You're here more for the charts and all that. So we're gonna keep the daylight coming because it's a lot more motivating for me in the morning than for me to be closing the blinds and getting all dark in here just for the camera to look good. Morning, guys. Welcome back. How's everyone doing? Awesome day yesterday. Congrats to everyone if you did well yesterday. Yesterday was pretty clean. Really nice downside move. Some really clean technicals on the individual charts. Tesla had some sick bear flags. NASDAQ ES broke down really nice. Yeah, nice day. Nice day. And we'll see if we can repeat it. So a good start to the week. Hope everyone had a good start to the week as well. Happy Wednesday. My video yesterday was probably one of the most raw live trading videos I've made. If you guys want to check that out, it's actually one of the lowest viewed videos on my channel, which is crazy. Maybe it's the title, maybe it's the thumbnail, I don't know. But it was a good video. So if you want to check that out, feel free after this. It's a good live trading video if you haven't watched it yet. Live trading, I think people like to see live trading, but I think a lot of people don't care about it. It's interesting. Usually my live trading videos are actually the lower viewed videos. But it is what it is. You made some serious money on your setup. Yeah, I mean, yesterday, the levels we talked about yesterday in the live stream were all really rock solid. So that's why yesterday went so well. Our game plan yesterday morning in the pre-market was solid. Really good. So congrats, guys, if you caught anything off those levels. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, right? Why not? Another day, more opportunity. Let's see what we got today. Today we have FOMC minutes. So I'm not going to be trading at 2 o'clock. I don't ever trade at 2 o'clock. This has been I cannot explain the, I don't know exactly how to say it, but I can't describe how good it feels to be trading in the morning and get off the charts. I used to be stuck on the charts for longer than I'd like. I used to be sitting on my screen till 1, 2 o'clock, maybe even later sometimes, and it was miserable. I mean, there was nothing fun about sitting here and trading all day. So I would highly recommend to you guys, if you could maybe, trade for the first few hours of the day, whatever it is, if you take a small loss, if you take a loss, if you take a win, small win, whatever it is, I can guarantee you that your odds of coming out profitable get lower and lower as the day goes on. I can't speak highly enough about taking some opportunities in the morning and getting the hell out of the market. Lock in what you have, whether it's a win or a loss. I can't explain how changing this has been for me, not only in trading but in my personal life. Having the time to go to the gym, having the time to focus on other things, right? It's very important. It's very important, and it will affect your trading, right? It will affect your trading. Whether you think it's true or not, right? It will affect you mentally, which will affect you trading. So consider it. Try it. It's very nice. All right. So, oh my God, I totally agree. Nothing feels worse than making money in the morning and then losing it in the afternoon. God, that is the most frustrating thing in the world for me. I used to do that so much. I'm telling you, if you can think of a bad habit out there, guys, I did it, right? I did those habits. All the habits that you may have as a newer trader, all the habits that maybe you still deal with, trust me, I'm no better than you. The only difference for me, the only reason I've been able to be profitable over the last, now it's going on, this is my 4th year now. Last 3 have been. This year so far is. The only reason is because I've knocked out I've had the discipline and I've knocked out the bad habits. Nothing, I'm no smarter than anyone in this live stream. I'm not, right? But it's the discipline. It's not getting back on the charts after you're green. It's not, getting back on your screen at 2 o'clock because you have nothing to do and you're like, oh, let me just go trade for a little bit. And then you lose your profits and then you can't stand yourself, right? Those things are killer. All right, I need to delete this guy that keeps on saying that AMC's at 100. An idiot. God. I mean, what is your goal? All right, next. Good morning. FOMC today. Let's go ahead and pull up the economic calendar. Here we go. All right. Wednesday, February 22nd. FOMC minutes. That is today. That is at 2 p.m. today. That's going to be market moving, right? That's going to be market moving. So we'll see what happens there at 2 o'clock. Smarter than that guy. Yeah, all right. I'll take that. I'm smarter than that guy. I agree. How long did it take me to be profitable? A long time, Barrett. Longer than you think. 5 years. Just about 5 years. I lost money for 5 years trading. My first 5 years. So longer than what some people are willing to wait. Right? A lot longer. Some people want to be profitable their first 6 months. It's not going to happen. Right? I've been at this for a long time. And I went through every single thing you can think of. That is why I feel so confident in my trading, is because I have seen everything. I have seen it all. I've seen all the ugly habits. I've seen all the me in my shower at night thinking, what the hell did I just do today? Right? I've been there. I've been everywhere you can think. So I've been through it all. So anyways, Wednesday, February 22nd, FOMC, that's the big one. That's what we'll watch today. Tomorrow, jobless claims, GDP, big as well. And then Friday, consumer spending, personal income, PCE index, new home sales, consumer sentiment, and then a bunch of Fed presidents. Holy crap. Bunch of Fed presidents. All right. So that's that. Let's go ahead and pull up. Let's go ahead and pull up the earnings calendar. Where the hell is it? Shout out to you, Breadman, for always posting these. Appreciate you. All right. Here we go. So, whoa, that's really zoomed in. All right, let me take that back a notch. All right. So yesterday we had Coinbase and Palo Alto. I think Palo Alto is up today. PANW, right? Yeah, PANW up pretty nicely today. So we'll look at that one. I forgot to put that one on the schedule, but we'll take a look at that one. So Coinbase, Palo Alto, two big ones. I think Coinbase is pretty much flat, just killing premium, and then Palo Alto I think is up this morning. Obviously, we just looked at that, so it is, yes. Baidu up this morning. Wingstop, Wix. Wix had a big beat. Watch out for Shopify and Wix. Thanks, Knowledge, for that heads up this morning. After close today, NVIDIA. That's the big one. So after close today, NVIDIA, that's definitely going to affect semiconductors. So NVIDIA, AMD, Qualcomm, TSM, right? Those will all move off of Texas Instruments. Those will all move, possibly Intel. Those will all move off of NVIDIA today. So watch out for that. NVIDIA IV yesterday was over 100%. I would highly recommend not to trade NVIDIA contracts. It's probably not worth your time. They're most likely going to trade it sideways. They do this all the time before earnings. Trade it sideways, kill all the premium. IV claps all the contracts, right? I would stay away. I don't think that today's a good day to get involved. So NVIDIA, watch out for that. Alibaba tomorrow, Moderna, Domino's, Wayfair, Planet Fitness, Nikola Motors, Scam Motors, Block, Square, Carvana. I mean, everything else is just sort of is what it is. This is the big one, right? NVIDIA. All right, let's get started. Whoops. So, excuse me. Today, so let's start on the daily chart to get an idea of what happened yesterday. So here's yesterday's move, right? Very clear rejection. I don't think anyone should be, if you were surprised that the market moved lower, then you're just not watching You're not watching technicals. It's as simple as that, right? If you're like, oh, why did the market fall yesterday? Well, you're not watching technicals because over the last month, we have had a very clear supply rejection at 4,200. It's clear as day, right? It didn't take a day for this to happen where it caught people off guard. It did this for 3 weeks, right? So it's very clear why the market is moving lower. It has to move lower. It couldn't get above this 4,200. It was tired. It sat up here for 2-3 weeks. It's not going to move higher, after seeing all these rejections. Most likely, right? Probability is that it's going to move lower off supply. So that's very clear, right? There should be absolutely no surprise there. This was a rejection here. This was a rejection here. This was a rejection here. And we rejected it once again. No surprise, right? That's technical analysis. So we're moving lower off of it. Now, I think the right place for the ES to come back to is 39.50. I think that's where we should see the ES back to. But we have to watch this 4,000 level. So I think the market should come back to these lows. It should come back to this low. It should come back to meet this uptrend. And it should come back to the 200 SMA. All three of those things line up right here at 39.40, 39.50. Literally, like all three confluences meet at the exact same point. So you have previous demand, the 200 SMA, and this multi-month uptrend. They all meet right here. That is where I think the market should come back to. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to come back to that, but that would be a move that makes a lot of sense to me. Move back to here, potentially hold this uptrend in the 200 SMA, and maybe try again. Or if we lose 39.50, then we move lower, right? But that is the area that makes a lot of sense to me for the market to come back down to, right? So I'm watching that level, 39.40, 39.50, previous demand here, 200 SMA, and a multi-month uptrend. That's what I'm going to be watching at that 39.40, 39.50. Now, in a little bit of the more immediate short term, if we zoom out a little bit, there is something at 4,000 to be aware of, right? One, it's a psychological level, right? 4,000 psych level, very possible to see something off of that. And also this little demand back here. But I'm not that confident in this 4,000 level as of right now, right? You do have some demand here, right? You have a support, multi-day support here back at 4,000. You sort of held it here, but it's not very like, yeah, this is where I think it should come back down to. It's not very clean. If we go to the daily chart and we run this line through 4,000, right? If I run that line through 4,000, it's really nothing that I'm like, yeah, this looks like a very strong demand at this level, right? You sort of rejected it here, rejected it there, went through, went back, really just chopped around 4,000 here. I don't trust any of it to hold in this chop zone. You could say that demand that we just looked at on the hourly could put up a little bit of a fight. If I go back to the 90-day, you could say that 4,000 puts up a little bit of a fight because of this previous demand here. Very possible, psych level. But I am not like that eager to be going long off 4,000. I want to see it back. For me to be more comfortable on longs, it would have to be back here at this 200 SMA. That's really where I want to see the market back to. Previous low, 200 SMA, uptrend support. That's really where I would feel more comfortable. So watch 4,000 today, right? If we hold 4,000, maybe you get a push back into the previous low breakdown, right around that 40.60. So if I go to the 15-minute, actually, let me go to the 30-minute, get a little bit more time here. And the NASDAQ looks very similar to this, by the way. If we do hold 4,000, maybe you get a push back into these lows right around 40.60, right? You get a little retest of the flush point. You guys can see right here, previous low, right? If you get a 4,000 hold, maybe you retest the flush point, and then maybe you continue the downside move. So that's the two things that I'd be looking for. If we hold 4,000 today, if there's actual strength on the market, then I would look to see, do we push into that 40.60? And if we get to that 40.60, what happens at that level? Is that where we retest and reject? That is very possible. And that would be, right, the short entry that provides good risk to reward. If you are shorting into 4,000 today, your risk reward is very flawed. You might get it. You might have, you might get a 4,000 flush. You might get a nice juicy downside. It's very possible. But if you were to enter here, here's your risk to reward. Your reward is possibly to 4,000, and your risk is up to 39.60. So here's your risk to reward on a short here above 4,000. I have no interest in this type of trade, right? That's not a risk reward I'm willing to take. Because if you stop out on a short before 40.60, you're stopping out simply because you're down and you're red on your position. You are not stopping out because you're breaking any type of key level. You stop out here, no key level. You're just stopping out because you're losing money. You stop out here, you're stopping out because you're losing money, not because it's a key level break, right? And that is why risk to reward is totally against you. So to short this market, I would say you short here at 40.60, right? Or you short below 4,000 for a move into that 200 SMA. Those are your two short entries that make actual sense today. Short at 40.60 on a supply rejection of the previous lows, or a short below yesterday's lows, 4,000 rejection into 39.50. Okay? Those are your two short entries that I would be looking for today if the market makes any type of substantial move. long entry, I would say, is possible down here at 4,000 for a move back into 40.60, or an actual move above 40.60, which is a little bit hard to see, but this would be your next long entry above 40.60. All right. So that's what I'm looking at today. 4,000, 40.60, and 39.50. How do we trade in these zones, right? In these levels. These are all my levels, right? 1, 2, 3. 4,000, 40.60, 39.50, right? And I want to see, and I want to make trades as close to these levels as possible, right? I want to make trades. I want to put trades on at these levels. I do not want to put trades on at right here, or I don't want to put a trade on right here, right? I want to try to put trades on in these levels. So 4,000, 40.60, 39.50, those are the levels I'm watching. SPY, I haven't even updated my SPY chart, so I'm going to have to update it live with you here. 4 hour, what's the SPY been up to here? Do we have that same uptrend on the SPY? Not really, huh? Yeah, it's a very different on the SPY, huh? I didn't even realize that. You really don't have that uptrend. Actually, hold on. Yes, you do. I was looking at the wrong chart. So here's your uptrend. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, actually. I take that all back. So here it is. It's right around, what is it? Yeah, it's right around this 393, 390, 393 area. Right in here. So that would be the SPY back to like 390. Yeah, right here. That would be the 39.50 level on the ES. So if we go to the ES, right, these lows, the 200 SMA, the multi-month uptrend around 39.40, 39.50. On the SPY, it's right here, right? 393, 390 area, right in there. You can see the SPY is just sort of suspended here. If we go to the hourly chart and we zoom out, we can see this is that previous demand that we were talking about, and these previous lows around 398 right here. So on the SPY, you can see right here, you got previous highs, right? Previous low. This is where you're holding this morning, 398, 399, right? You can see there. And then to the upside, you look for that 39.70, 39.60, which is the same as this 403 level. All right, same exact thing. Everything's the same. And then you have your 39.50 or 393. So look, ES 4,000, 40.60, 39.50. Right? SPY 399, 398, 403.50. 393, right? Same exact level, same exact chart. That's what I'd be watching. All right. NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ is a little bit more, it makes a little bit more sense to me here today on the NASDAQ. Here's why. So previous highs, right? Previous highs, previous highs, and previous highs, right? Triple top on the NASDAQ right here within this 12,075 and 11,940 level, right? It's this whole range right here. It's this whole range. And if we zoom in here to the shorter term, we can see this is also where FOMC was before we went hot, before we broke out, right? This is that FOMC low on the 1st of February before we broke out. We have come back to that level. And we have also come back to the previous triple top. You broke out, you retested, you're retesting this triple top. And the area that you're holding this morning is pretty much identical, right? It's right at that triple top. So this green zone that we just looked at on that 4 hour is that previous triple top, and this is where you're holding this morning. So are you going to short into this level? You could. It doesn't make any sense, but you could, right? You want to wait, I would say, until, right? I wouldn't personally feel comfortable shorting the NASDAQ anywhere in this green zone because you could hold any of this previous high. And I really don't want to get stuck in that. Previous high right here, previous support right here. I think shorting or trading at all in this green zone is a little bit difficult. So watch out for this green zone here. You guys can see multiple previous tests of this zone. You're trying to hold it this morning. So for me, if I go to the hourly chart, here's what I would be looking at today. I would look for either a push into the 12,270 for a supply rejection, right? That's possible, very similar to the ES. I would look for a break under the 200 SMA. That would be where I'd be interested in shorts, either under the 200 SMA or supply rejection of 1270. Right? Those are my two short entries that I'd feel comfortable with. To long this market, you could look for a long here at this 12,100, 12,070 area that's holding today, or you could see what happens at that 100 SMA, or the 200 SMA. All right? But you have to watch out for these previous lows. If you see the market here, right? If the market's looking like this today, if we go to the 1 minute chart, if we go to this 1 minute chart and we see, let's say NASDAQ is trading up here at 12,240 today, right around here. If you take a long entry here and you are not paying attention to the previous lows right here, you can put yourself in a pretty ugly situation. So if you are looking to go long today, I would not do it up here at 12,270. Right? This is a previous low that could very well reject here, and I would be very cautious of that. So watch out for that, right? 12,270 on the upside if you are long, and then watch 12,075 on the downside if you are short. Watch this zone here today. And then you have that 200 SMA down there at 11,940. All right? Dow Jones. I think the Dow broke that pretty important level here, and now you're back to another level. So let me delete some of this here so you guys can see. I think I can delete, remove drawings, arrows. Yes, very easy. There we go. All right, so let's go daily chart actually. So you can see the Dow is trading back at this zone, right? Previous highs, previous support, previous support. The Dow is trading back at that zone. I would say you need to be very cautious shorting into this zone here. 33,000, 32,800. This whole 200-point range doesn't really seem like a good short, right? The short would be back up here at the channel high, right? It's a channel. You short here and you buy here, right? If you short here and you buy here in a channel, right, you're just doing the same thing that every new trader is going to do, right? They're going to try to trade the breakout and they're going to get slammed on, or they're going to try to short the lows and they're going to get a big bounce against them, all right? That is very classic of, what a newer trader would think to do, right? You look, oh my God, we're going to break the lows. Bam. Oh my God, we're going to break out. Bam. Right? That's not what you want to be getting involved in. So risk reward here is not to go short. I would be careful of this 33,000, 32,800. If you break these lows and you turn it into a rejection point, then maybe you could look for that downside continuation. But that is only after you break and get confirmation. If you break the highs and you confirm above this level, then maybe you get your upside. But you need the confirmation. All right, so channel trading on the Dow. I mean, we've talked about channel trading so much on this live stream. It's the same concepts over and over again. Don't short the lows, don't buy the highs, and try to trade it within the channel. If you really want to get involved in channel trading, that's up to you. All right, Russell. So the Russell, you zoom out here. So the Russell did break this previous high on yesterday's move. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see if there's any type of support below here. You do have like this previous high here around this 1880. You have this is that FOMC low here around this 1890. It looks like it's trying to hold this FOMC low right here around that 1887, 1890. So this whole zone, I would say, be cautious Let me extend this to the left. I would look for the Russell to turn 1905 into a rejection today. That's what I'd look for. So look, if you look at this 4-hour chart, you guys can see the high here at 1905, the high here at 1905, the high here at 1905, again right here, right? Multiple rejections at this 1905 high, which is the top of this green zone. You also have, right, a previous low right at that 1905 level from Friday of last week, 2 weeks ago. So I would look to see, does the IWM or does the Russell turn this 1905 into a new rejection point? Right? That's what I would watch for on the Russell. See what happens here up at 1905 on the Russell. If that fails, then this could definitely continue lower. If that fails, this could continue lower here. Watch 1905 on the Russell. All right. That's the futures. Hopefully that makes sense. Tesla. So I'm eyeing this 196 level on Tesla. This is very interesting. Major previous highs into support here on Thursday, Friday of last week, and you're sort of sitting in it right now. So this is questionable, right? I am trying to see if this holds today. It's a little bit questionable. It has held multiple times in the pre-market today. You can see right here. So I would be careful shorting into this. I would probably want to see the pre-market lows break before I go short, right? If I can see the pre-market lows break around this 195, then I would possibly look for that next move into this 188. Where's the 200 SMA on this chart? Okay, we're actually, it's pretty close to rejecting it. So back to the hourly chart. I would watch 196, 195 today on Tesla, right? If we break the pre-market lows, I could see a case for this to move back down into this demand, right? I still think this demand needs to be touched again, down here at 188, 190. So if we do break down below yesterday's lows, pre-market lows, I would look for this move, right? This move would make sense to me, down to 188, 190. But that's only if we start to really give up on the market, and that's only if we give up these lows on Tesla. If we hold these lows on Tesla, it is possible for us to find another demand bounce off this level. We've done it multiple times in the past. It is possible again. We'll have to see what the market does, right? This is going to follow the market. So watch 195, watch 196, watch this zone here. If you break these pre-market lows, you might get that slip. If you hold here, if you start to consolidate above this level, you could see another little push. So watch that 195, 196. All right. AMD. So I am still interested in this retest on AMD. This is going to obviously depend on the market, of course, like everything else. If the market finds any type of short-term bounce today, then I would be watching this. You have a previous high here at 77, and you have a consolidation trying to form at 77. It hasn't done it yet. It doesn't look very confidence-inspiring just yet. But you're trying to attempt to hold here around this 77. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see there's definitely been a little bit of a reaction here around this 77 level. This has been, right, this was a previous high. So if I go get 90 days here, if I zoom out, you guys can see right here on the hourly chart, you have a previous high here, previous high right here, and you have another previous high right here. So if we can maintain above 77 today, if I start to see some action build above 77 on AMD, and if I see the market, ES and NASDAQ, actually put some type of move to the upside, right, I would be interested in 77 for a demand bounce. I would be watching it. So I'm going to watch that. On the flip side, right, you can play this to both sides. If we move below 77, if we turn it into another rejection point, if we start seeing this again, right, this is another rejection of these previous rejection points, which could lead to the next move to the downside, coming down into the channel low, right around this 72, right? So I would watch 77 both ways. I think it's going to, obviously be an interesting level to watch today. NVIDIA reports earnings after hours. AMD will move off NVIDIA. If you swing trade AMD, you have to understand that it will move off of NVIDIA's earnings. So understand that. Apple 200 SMA. Going to keep an eye on this level today. 4-hour chart on Apple. Keeping an eye on this 200 around 147. You have this previous high. You have this previous high around 147. You guys can see right here. And you also have that 200 SMA. So if we come back into this previous high, if we come back into this 200 SMA, how does Apple respond? All right, that's something I'm going to be watching. Apple back to the 200. If the market has some strength, I would watch to see if there's a demand bounce off that 200. If we break the 200, break 147, then I think Apple is heading back into this demand here, right around this 143, right? So keeping an eye on Apple, watching this 200. That's what I would be watching at this 147, all right? 200 on 200 SMA. Microsoft. All right, 255, 254.50, 255. This is what I'm watching on Microsoft. This is actually an interesting rejection possibility here. If we get downside in the market, this would probably be one of my top watches to the downside, actually. So why do I say that? All right, you have a previous high at 254.50 right here. All right, previous high. You guys can see that right there. You have a previous low right here at 254.50, right? Previous high turning into support. This was a sexy, sexy, sexy break and retest for upside, right? Beautiful, right? So you had that previous break and retest, previous high into support, but now you are back below it. And on top of that, you are below potentially the 200 SMA. So if we get a previous low turning into another rejection here, and we get this previous high turning into a rejection once again at the 200 SMA, right, this could be a nice little move back into that 245. So this is definitely something I'm watching today. If you reject this 254.50, if you reject the 200 SMA, if you turn this low into a rejection point, right, I would look for this downside move into the next demand, which is at 245 right here. So I'm definitely watching that one today. All right. If you do get back over, then you have to respect the possible demand here, right? If you do get back over, you have to respect the possible demand. So I would be looking to see, does Microsoft turn this 245 into a rejection? All right. Wanted to quickly pop up the XLE because I think this is interesting to watch today, right? You are moving lower on the XLE. You're still technically trading in a demand zone here on the XLE in between this 83 and 85, but you're starting to see some stocks break down on the energy sector. So look at CVX, right? CVX slipped under that 164 and has continued pretty aggressively, probably heading back into this 155, right? You have pretty much just a channel here between 165 and 155. You're probably heading back to this 155 channel low. That's if the XLE continues lower, which right now it is. XOM pulling back as well, right? I would look for it back to that 108, 109, right, to see what happens there. But I just wanted to point out the energy sector is a little bit weak here. Oil futures sort of sitting here at this 75, 76, rejected this 83 high. Keep an eye on the energy sector. We'll see. I mean, if it could be sort of moving its way back down to that 200 SMA. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the 200 SMA has been a fantastic buying opportunity almost every time on the XLE. For the most part, right? 200 SMA, 200 SMA, 200 SMA, a little bit under the 200, and then 200 SMA coming in again. So keep an eye on that XLE. Keep an eye on that energy sector. Watch that 200 SMA around 83, 82, 70, 83 on XLE. Could be an interesting opportunity. Could be an interesting opportunity there. I'd watch it. All right. Amazon. So, I mean, Amazon's just sort of doing what we expected. We talked about this one yesterday. In my opinion, guys, with technical analysis, this is something that I very much believe in. If you are trading in a channel, it is most likely that the stock is going to continue to the next channel low or channel high, right? Amazon yesterday, let me pull it up so we can see what it looked like yesterday. So this is Amazon yesterday, right here. I'll go ahead and make this larger for you. All right. So that's Amazon yesterday, right? And you can see that we were trading within this channel, right? You had a channel high and a channel low. Now, if you break under the channel high, like you did right here, and you're trading sort of in the middle of that channel, it is most likely that the stock is going to continue into the next area of support. There is no support in the middle of a channel. There is no support sitting in the middle of a channel. It is going to likely trade back down into the low of the channel, which you can see is sort of what it did. So that is why yesterday, right, we were saying Amazon looks to be headed towards 93. Not much support here until that key level. If the market is weak today, it would look to trade back into that 93 support, right? Not much support within a channel. So this happens a lot. This is something to really focus on because you see a lot of this. 93, right? We rejected that 98 channel high. We're going to trade back into the 93. But now, right, risk reward is not on your side if you're looking short because you're going to be shorting into a previous triple bottom. Do you want to short into a triple bottom? Your mind might tell you yes, but I can tell you it's not right, right? So you can see previous low, previous low, previous low. You do not want to short into a triple bottom. Yes, this is a head and shoulder, but just because it's a head and shoulder doesn't mean I'm going to buy puts and I'm going to think that it's going to break down the triple bottom, right? Yes, it's a head and shoulder, but a head and shoulder or any technical formation is not more important than a demand level that has been very apparent, right, in the beginning of January. So previous demand, previous demand, previous demand. Be careful shorting into 93. If you wanted to short, you short at the channel high. You do not short at the channel low. Now, the next short that shows up is a break under 93 and a rejection of the channel low, right? If you get a rejection of the channel low, then, right, then I can get behind your short, right? Then I can get behind it because you're turning a previous triple bottom into a new rejection point. If that happens, then I think things can get a little slippery here for Amazon, right? Because look at this action on the left. So I would say watch 93. I would not short into 93. If you can get a break under 93, then I think you could possibly look for that short side, right? Would I take calls at 93? You're going to have to obviously wait to see if it confirms some type of strong demand, right? If we go to let's go to what happened in the past. You don't want to be the first one on the calls. Let's go to the 15 and let's get 90 days. Let's look at what it did back here. So you can see back here, all right, you can see this day, very strong bounce off that demand. Pretty nice aggression on the upside. You probably could scalp that, right? You're starting to see that confirmation come in. On this time, right, you can see we moved higher, we moved lower into it. Very strong. I think I took this trade, actually. I think I did take this trade. But anyway, move lower, very strong demand hold of 93 on this Thursday, sort of consolidated above it into close. Next day, you can see, look at that wick off that 93. Very nice confirmation of that sort of upside move off demand. Now, this one, a little bit ugly, right? You got that break and rejection in 93. Did get back above it. I probably wouldn't have taken this trade, right? This is a little bit too aggressive. Not really a strong demand hold, sort of flushed under it. I don't really like that one. If we go into today's price action, right, you're going to want to see something like that form. If you maybe move lower into it, start to see some consolidation today, right? Maybe you close like right here today. Tomorrow, if the market finds any type of strength, then maybe you can get that push to the upside. But you gotta let things sort of work out at these demand levels. There's no reason to be the first one here, right? Let things sort of work out. See if that demand holds up. Let it consolidate. like it's done in the past, and then see if you can play it. Stop under 93. It's a decent idea. But obviously, if the market's going straight down, you're not buying calls at 93, right? If the market's going vertically down today, if the market breaks, if the NASDAQ breaks that 12,270, if the ES breaks 4,000, you're not looking at Amazon calls if that's starting to happen, right? You have to make sure you're watching the market as well. That's very important. Meta 170. So Meta just sort of looks to be having a slow death here, to be honest, for an eventual gap fill. So you guys can see right here, pretty much just a really slow slide to the downside. Lower highs, lower lows. Does this trend change? It might not. It might not. And if you have any belief in it, maybe it's worth just holding a put here on Meta. If you think the market is going to slide lower, I could see Meta just sort of sliding. This could very well continue for, a few weeks back into this 155, right? It's very possible to see that. So keep an eye on that. That's a possibility. I don't really love the idea of just buying it because you think it's just going to continue, but it's possible. 170, I would say that could be your entry point on the downside. That would probably be a downside entry that I would be comfortable with. So if you break under 170, if you turn it into a rejection, you could try to enter some longer term puts here, right? At this previous low, turn that 170 into a rejection. That's possible. That would be off a technical level. That's something I would understand, right? I would look for that. Can we break under 170? If we can, look for that rejection, possibly more downside to fill this gap. Or, right, if the market bounces, you might be able to hold this 170 as well. So either way, 170 is the main watch today for Meta. We'll take a look at those earnings plays, PNW and Baidu. I can look at those for you guys. Did PNW break this level? Yes, it did. So this is actually quite easy to trade, guys. This is, exactly what you're looking for here. And if you don't, you're not paying attention. You know that you're not going to buy calls out of the gates on a stock that just had earnings. If you do, you might get lucky. You might make some money, right? It's very possible. But the real trade is a retest of 178. That is the real trade. You wait for the retest of 178. All these previous highs. Look at all these rejections of 178. Right, look at where this rejected, right at 190. Right? So what you're looking for here on PANW is you're looking for a retest of 178. You're looking for a support to step in, and then you could look for that long continuation on earnings. That's what I'd look for. Retest of 178. If you can get that nice entry point, you might be able to just trade this out of the gates, but I just am not that kind of guy. I'm not that guy. You might be that guy, but I'm not that guy. Baidu had earnings. So you sort of pushed into these highs here. Yeah, you could watch these highs to see if it rejects. You could keep an eye. It's a pretty major supply rejection up there. Previous highs. It's possible. All right, just watch out for that 153, 155 area. All right, let's go into your tickers. If you guys could take a second, press the like button. We got 1,500 people here, and we have 400 likes. If you could help me out, press that like button. If you appreciate the live streams, if you enjoy the live streams, if you learn something from the live streams, your like is much appreciated. All right, CVX, SOX S, Baidu, if we did Baidu, FedEx, DocuSign, PA, and W. All right, here we go. All right, CVX. We did CVX. Yeah, CVX. If that energy sort of continues lower, I worked for a Fortune 500 company. Star. I had a full-time job. I had a very good job, actually. It was tough to leave it. So yeah, CVX once again. 165, 155. This is the same concept, right? If XLE continues lower, I could see CVX slide towards that low. It's very possible. SOX S, I mean, it's just a short of the semiconductors. I don't know. Watch. I would wait for NVIDIA. I would wait for NVIDIA to do anything there. FDX. Ooh. Is that a retest? It's a little retest action, huh? Interesting. Yeah. Hold, 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 break, retest. Interesting. Yeah, I'd watch that. See if 204 holds today. That would be a retest of this, even this weekly demand here, right? Weekly demand. Possibly a little weekly retest here. At 204, 203, 204. Watch it. See if it shows some support. Docu. I don't know, guys. DocuSign. Why are we looking at DocuSign? There's so many better stocks out there to be trading than DocuSign. I mean, you could look for the 59 retest. It's possible, right? Break, retest. Look for 59 to hold. Look to see if it holds the 200 SMA as well. What did CRM end up? See, look at that. There's a good example, right? Here's a good example of a flag just never working, right? So if this is where you needed patience. So you can see we never got the confirmation of the flag breakout. So you can see, I remember talking about this. I said, oh, watch out for this flag breakout, right? We never really got the confirmation there. And look, it failed. This is a very good example of a failed retest and a failed flag. Right, look at that's very clear. Previous highs, you tried to hold it, never really got that juice, and then the market sort of turned over, which is obviously hurting CRM there. Yeah, I'll end with Costco Target because I'm still sort of eyeing these things. I would watch Costco to reject these lows right here. Right here, guys. I would watch Costco to reject these lows. You guys can see this 503 area. Costco still rejected those lows. I would watch that rejection at 503. And then Target. Target's under a pretty major level here today. So Target under that 168, possibly back down into that 165. Still sort of eyeing what happens here on the retail names. All right, so keep an eye on those retailer names. All right, guys, that's all I got. We'll end with the futures once again. You can see right here the NASDAQ still holding that 12,075. The ES is still just sort of chilling at this 4,000. All right, watch those levels today. Thank you guys for being here. If you could press the like button, I would appreciate it. That would mean a lot. It would help out the channel, help out the, all right, Damon. See you later. Help out the channel, help out the live streams. I appreciate you guys for being here. And have a fantastic day. Let those futures levels guide your path. Don't trade off of emotion, off of bias. If we're trading above a demand, don't short into it. If we're trading at supply, don't go long into supply. These things will help you a lot. I promise, right? Knowing these levels will help you a lot. Knowing when risk-reward is on your side, when risk-reward is against you, it helps tremendously, and you just have to be paying attention to these levels intraday. I understand it can get hard because you get a little bit of a tunnel vision intraday. You're not watching your levels. You want to take a play. You're emotional, right? I understand, right? It makes sense. Find a way to really stay calm, focus on the levels that are in front of you on the ES and NASDAQ, and try to make plays based off of risk-reward in those scenarios, all right? Promise it helps. Have a great day. Have a great trading day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. FOMC at 2 o'clock. Don't forget. Peace out.